Okay, Jake, so live na? Alright, perfect. Alright, so welcome to our second podcast. Alright, perfect, guys. This is Terrible Children's again, talking about terrible things, quote unquote terrible things. Alright, so welcome to our second podcast. Alright, perfect, guys. This is Terrible Children's again, talking about terrible things, quote unquote terrible things. Alright, so welcome to our second podcast. Alright, perfect, guys. This is Terrible Children's again, talking about terrible things, quote unquote terrible things. Alright, so welcome to our second podcast. Alright, perfect, guys.
Wait, guys, what's the thing on Facebook for this? Because obviously I don't have Facebook anymore, so I wanted to kind of tell my friends about it so they can watch. Wait, guys, what's the thing on Facebook for this? Yeah, the link. Obviously I don't have Facebook to them anymore, so I wanted to kind of tell my friends about it so they can watch. Wait, guys, yeah, the link. Obviously I don't have Facebook to them anymore. Jim, is my voice clear?
Yes, you said loud and clear.
Alright, that's good. Yeah, the link. Obviously I don't have Facebook to them anymore. Jim, is my voice clear?
Yeah, so loud and clear.
Sino mag-vocalize na?
Yeah, the link. Obviously I don't have Facebook. Jim, is my voice clear?
Yeah, so loud
Okay lang ba? Clear lang daw po yung vocalize na.
Yes.
Yes.
Jim, is my voice clear?
Yeah, so
Okay lang ba? Clear lang daw po yung vocalize na.
Yes.
So ano ulam nyo kanina, guys?
Tortang talong.
Oh, I love tortang talong. Walang makain. So ano ulam nyo kanina? Very healthy and delicious.
Tortang talong. And cheese.
And cheese. I love tortang talong. Walang makain. So ano ulam nyo kanina? Very healthy and delicious.
yeah, so Jake,
And
any of the
I love tortang talong.
Wait, Jim, can you tell me the breakdown again for what's the third topic?
yeah, so Jake. So section 1 is the insights or
Wait, Jim, can you
definitions.
tell me the breakdown again for what's the third topic?
Section 2 would be the rights in general, and then section 3 is more of like a message for people who struggling with their gender identity, and then and how did you share na, you can share then as well how did you struggling with accepted your own preference plus how did you can share then how did you cope with it with let's say your family accepting it or even not accepting it, but generally just give your insight on this is how I did it and
Parang coping mechanisms, parang
just
gano'n.
give their insight kasi we also wanna this is how I did it lalo na doon sa mga nahihirapan
Parang coping
or
mechanisms.
nagkakaroon ng depression just because they can't really tell anybody to have that idea na hey you're not alone.
Yeah, and you can get help,
Nagkakaroon ng
diba?
depression just
Kasi
because
diba
they
last
can't really
time
tell
we
anybody
connected that?
to have that idea na hey you're not alone. Yes.
Yeah, and you can get
So,
help, diba?
You know,
Kasi
you
diba
can
last
even
time we
mention,
connected
you know, like
that?
the Pride March, and actually, yun yung gusto ko rin pag-usapan sa ano sa rights. So,
Diba?
laging merong edmal na sa Pride March, you know, like the Pride March, and actually, yun yung gusto ko rin
Nakita nyo yung shinare
sa
ko
rights.
natin dun sa community.
Merong edmal na sa Pride March.
I think mas maganda ko i-share nyo rin sa wall para makita nyo yung shinare ko dun sa community. Weird. I think mas maganda ko i-share nyo rin kaya.
Sige, I'ma share this.
Ako shinare ko.
Thank you.
Dun sa community. Weird.
Wait, ano ba yan? Sinend nyo na ba yung link? Parang send ko sa friends ko.
Ako shinare ko. Sige, sige. Sinend ko sa community.
Okay.
Yung
Wait,
sa community group.
ano ba yan? Sinend nyo na ba yung link? Parang send ko sa friends ko.
Ako shinare ko. Ang sad.
Sinend mo sa community.
Dati yung pag-on natin,
Wait,
ang dami agad
ano ba yan? Sinend nyo na ba yung link? Parang send ko sa friends ko.
sad na. Ang sad.
Sinend mo sa community.
Are we live?
Dati yung pag-on natin,
Wait,
ang dami agad. Kaya live na.
sinend nyo na ba
Okay.
Pero walang
Alright.
nakitang watcher na. Ang sad.
Sinend mo sa
Sige na, let's go
I
ahead.
wanna start.
Yeah.
subjects such as politics. I also love history, religion, anything really controversial and that's not talked about is something that I want to talk about and give more information to people about it. I want to know people's opinions and basically make people more open-minded about these topics. And yeah, that's really it.
All right, thank you. So, like I said kanina, no, meron tayong mga special guests for tonight, and they'll go ahead and help us with this topic. But first, we're gonna go ahead and introduce them one by one, so at least they can share their sexual preference and what they would love to talk about on this topic as well, or in general. So let's start with porn, sexual preference, and what
Hola and good
they
morning to
would
everyone.
love to
I
talk
am
about
Cornelius,
on this topic
aka
as well, or
Corn.
in general. So
I
let's
identify
start
as gay,
with porn,
even though I don't
sexual
sound
preference,
like it.
and what they would
And
love to talk about
I'm looking
on this
forward to a
topic as
great
well, or in
to a
general.
great
So
discussion
let's
tonight
start
as gay,
with porn.
even though I don't
All
sound
right,
like
thank you.
it.
Ano yung mga ini-expect mo for, I mean,
Looking forward
what
to a
would you
great
like to talk
to a
about
great
tonight
discussion
with
tonight
this
as gay,
particular topic or in
even
general?
though I don't.
All
Well,
right, thank you.
basically,
Ano yung
I'd
mga
also like to
ini-expect mo for, I mean,
lend a
what
hand
would you like to
in
talk about
helping
tonight
people
with this
understand
particular
what
topic
we
or
are
in
all
general?
about.
All right, thank you.
The different spectrum
I'd
of
also
our
like to
of gender
what would you
identity
like to talk
and
about
helping those who are struggling with it come to terms with their own identification. Our of gender identity.
Right. Well, yeah. We would also want to help those who has that crisis going on. Baka hindi pa nga nila alam na nandun na pala sila sa point na yun. So yeah,
Or
thank you to help
maybe
those
they are, or
who has
they're
that
just struggling with it.
crisis going on. Exactly, exactly.
Struggling how to come to terms with it, how they're
So yeah, thank you to help those
there's so many steps
who has
involved
that
with it. So
crisis going
yeah,
on.
basically getting comfortable in your own skin. How to come to terms with it.
Yeah, well, I like that statement that you just said. Beautiful. So yeah, well, let's go with our next guest, Mads. Yeah, well, I like
Hi,
that
my name is
statement that you
Mads.
just said. Beautiful. So yeah, well,
This
let's
is
go
the part
with
where I
our
tell you about
next
my
guest, Mads.
sexuality.
Yeah, well,
I
I
actually identify myself as more of a non-binary. I don't really quite adhere to whether I'm a man or a woman, although I do come as more of a man. But then again, I try to change it up a bit. So that's it for my expression. But in terms of who I'm attracted to, I'm actually more of a pansexual type. So I don't really care if whatever. Like if I like you, I like you. That's it. If I don't like you, I don't like you. I don't have specifications, so that's how I identify myself. Currently, I work as a health officer for the government for the mental health program. But I also dabble a bit of drag. I perform for or in free time. Ayun, so yun lang po. Do you have any questions? Wala na.
Can you elaborate?
Ayun, so
Ano difference ng
ano yung? Sige, go.
bisexual?
Ay, yung
Ano difference ng
pansexuality?
pansexual?
Ano difference nun?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, and bisexual. Para ma-enlighten din yung listeners.
Okay, I think there are a lot of similarities, but para kasi silang very close in terms of definition. But I think, and this is just me, don't ano naman. For me, pansexuality kasi does not really focus more on what's and this is just me. I think it's very genderless. For me, pansexuality kasi does where like beyond gender in a way. But I mean, kasi hindi naman mawawala yung attraction for some people towards the male physique or the female physique. Ako kasi, I really don't care to a certain extent. So parang may part ako na parang, I couldn't care less if it's big or it's small or you have huge boobies or not. So I'm like, if I like you, I like you, that's it. So, ayun, so parang magkapatid lang sila, yung bisexuality and pansexuality. Not much of a difference though. Sometimes I think it's just a labeling problem, but for me, I'm more comfortable with using the word pansexual, whereas kasi people would kind of assume when you're bisexual, there's some sort of duality na you're either attracted to a man or a woman. Parang basically parang ganon. But when you grow older, you kind of understand that there's so much more to having this binary type of definition. Like, ano ba yung man? Ano ba yung woman? How about trans people? For example, parang ganun. Or intersex people. So parang ako naman, I'm more of like, whatever. Like, if I like you, I like you. That's it. Period. Ganon. So that's pansexuality for you.
All right. Well,
Eh,
thank you
sorry
for.
sa mga listeners, parang nagkaroon ata ng feedback. Ngayon lang sinabi sa akin ng isang listener na malakas daw yung feedback kanina pala. May echo. Pero ngayon okay na. So, smooth sailing na ngayon. Okay, go
Okay.
ahead.
All right. Great. Well, thank you for sharing and opening the, like, or giving us enlightenment, Mads, kung ano yung pansexual. And a lot of people would, kapag punta yung pansexual, ano ba yung pansexual? So yeah, thank you for answering that.
If you want a shorter definition, it's a slut.
Oh my God.
A pansexual is a slut. No, not really. I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, before we go to the our third guest, let's go back with Corin. Kasi he mentioned
Yes.
he identified as gay. For some folks then maybe hindi ganun ka knowledgeable. And yeah, I'm hearing an echo.
Oh, from where?
Hello?
Hello?
Is it from
Yeah.
me?
No, it's I think it's not from you.
Not sure.
Um,
Oh my God,
so
someone's listening. Just
so
It's just
Corey, can you give us like a more insight about gay and how did you identify it, or how did you ano yung sexual
journey,
preference or
parang
saan ka
ganun.
na-attract? Yeah,
well,
something to that form.
I kind of grew up not, not being attracted to women of any kind. I mean, women have tried.
Natawa ko ulit sa women of any kind. Okay, go.
Yes, I mean, over the growing up, many of my women friends have tried to convert me by, having them having, but in any way possible, but I just didn't like them. I just sort of, had an attraction to same sex, and well, yeah, I kind of found myself comfortable with that, especially during my college days, and that's where I settled. Okay, so I guess I like guys.
Oh my God, single ka ba, Corn? Maybe we should like make an announcement to people listening na, hey guys, Corn
Mag-
single, ready to mingle.
Ginawang dating app
Oh
yung
God,
podcast.
I live with 42 cats, so yeah, pero yeah, I guess
Okay.
ganun siya growing up.
Pero, Corn, yung volume mo parang medyo mahina ulit. Yung
Mine?
mic mo. Yeah, I think
How
Yes, Corn.
about now?
parang medyo.
Yeah, that's a lot better, Corn.
Yan, okay.
Yan.
So yeah, I guess growing up, that's where I found myself comfortable with. So I that's where I settled now. Okay, I guess I'm this. I identify as gay, and I am attracted to guys.
All right.
Growing up. Mm.
But to be honest,
Okay.
guys are kind of easier. Okay.
That's I get. I do get it. There's a truth in there.
Di ba, girl? Like,
So, during yung childhood years mo, parang
Yeah.
figure out mo pa sarili mo. Then, college
So, yeah.
mo, dun mo talaga na,
So yeah, that's my shtick.
dun mo na, yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well,
Tingin mo ano ba yan? Parang, tingin mo may environmental factors pa or talagang purely genetics and biology yan kung bakit?
Genetics.
okay, wait
Um,
lang. Oh,
Jake, before we go there, I wanna
Sorry. Masyado.
go ahead and introduce our third guest first.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have Siren here. Siren, so yeah, please introduce yourself.
Hi, good morning everyone sa from US. So my work, I'm currently a registered nurse over here in Washington DC, and I advocate for trans law and also equal opportunity for my fellow sisters who are a transgender, individual. So that's what I do. I've been living as a transgender in the last 10 years of my life. It's kind of like in and out due to my job and also
Girl.
to you know and also to the people I associate with because of my job. I can't really come out back then, but now I feel like I'm more
Mhm.
open about my sexuality, and I truly embrace it. I'm actually made the right choice for myself to break free. And yeah, and I was in the military prior to that, so it was very difficult times for me to really like, embrace my sexuality and my, myself. So here I am today, joining you guys.
Yay!
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. And we're so happy that you're very open about it now instead of
Thank
like
you.
before na nahirapan ka. So great, great. That's great
It
news.
yeah,
Um,
it was a lot of work because I was in a very dominant world where it's only militaries, men, and straight woman. And so for me to fit myself in that community was very hard. In addition to being immigrant Filipino who doesn't speak their language from the very beginning, it was already difficult. So really have to fought my 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 well, I really have to fought for my place just to fit in myself in that community. It was very hard. You'll get to know me
We're
more,
very
even
proud of
more.
you.
But itaas ang bandila. Charot.
Yeah. Clap,
Girl,
clap, clap.
I support.
Charot.
right.
You're very strong.
Reminder lang, yung mic din ni Siren, no? Medyo mahina yung mic mo. I think.
Yeah, I can
Kung
hear
malalakas yung...
Siren clearly. But yeah,
Okay.
we are very proud of you, Siren. So by definition, I mean, since you identify as a trans woman,
Mhm.
can you shed some
So,
light on the,
yeah.
yeah, go.
So, there's two kinds of trans woman as my point of view. There is a pre-op and also already post-op. So, I considered myself as a pre-op. That means, I haven't done the final procedure to really enhance my body, and so I can be called as a post-op. So, I want to talk about that. Um, there's really no difference at all. It's just that what's down below, honestly. But you are still considered a woman. It's just that either you have the penis or you don't have the penis. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, girl, I agree.
So
Awesome.
those are the things na I want to talk about. It's na para yung mga bata na makakarinig nito na they think na, oh my goodness, I mean, it will make my life better kapag meron na akong, vagina. But actually, I can tell you from my medical experience na merong mga kaakibat na problema yan sa katawan mo in the future, but also it will give you some happiness at the same time as well. You just have to be responsible and be ready kasi mabigat na responsibility talaga yung magpa-surgery. So yeah.
Just to add to it,
Uh-huh.
siguro, no, I don't think it makes you less of a woman naman if
Definitely, yes.
I
yeah, if
agree.
you undergo the procedure or not. It's really
Mm-hmm.
entirely up to you.
Yes.
Kaya it begs to question kasi what is our definition of a woman? Ayan, total
Mm-hmm.
magdi-discuss naman tayo later kung ano yung what is a
Yes.
woman, what is a man. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, definitely meron tayong portion doon. Just a short portion kasi limited din yung time natin. And but yeah, Jake, you were asking a
Yeah.
question, and let's throw it out for all our guests.
Actually, I forgot ano ba yung question ko before.
So,
Ano yung
you
question
mentioned
mo?
um, when did you, anong age nyo na realize na, hey, I like this, this is my preference, and what were the things that went through your mind at that point? Let's start with Corn.
Oh God. Okay. All right. So, well, Grow
Mm-hmm.
it was very hard for me at first to figure out what I like, what I don't like at that point. Because um, of course, in my younger years, I was still, of course, considering because of the social norms that we have, the mindset that's being imparted upon us is you gotta grow up, you gotta get a job, you gotta get a wife, you gotta reproduce, and all that.
My
So
expectations.
yes, those expectations, and it's being
Yeah.
ingrained upon me growing up, blah blah blah. But I would say, even in my younger years, even up till now, I've always been a very experimental person. So,
Mm-hmm.
in high school, I guess I was probably around 17 at that time. Um, well, let's just say I had a certain experience with someone, and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of served as a catalyst for what path I am taking right now. And after that,
Mm-hmm.
I did try to be more feminine about myself. I tried, putting wigs, makeup, and all. But then um, eventually I figured I wasn't really that comfortable with it. It's not me. Kumbaga, it's not
Mm-hmm.
me. So I said,
Yeah.
at the age of 21, that's where I finally come to terms with who I am, that I like men, but I don't have, but if I'm not comfortable with changing who I am just to adapt to that kind of inclination, then that's okay. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
appearance wise, I definitely look like a straight guy that some people would say I'm very intimidating, na they wouldn't want to see
Yeah.
me in an alleyway. But I'm the type who
Oh
likes
yeah.
girls. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a couple people here know who I am. They know what I look like. So yeah, they wouldn't want to see me in an alleyway, and I haven't changed
Picture,
that.
picture.
You, mamaya.
Okay.
Nagpaunlak. Hindi, pero,
Yeah.
yeah, pero eventually, I've come to terms with that. Na ganun eh. Ganun talaga eh. That's what I like. And it's fine. It's fine. I've grown comfortable with it over the years, and as they say, the rest is history.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that, Corin. And I just want to ask, no, before
Yeah.
we go din sa kay Mads and kay Siren, was there any external influence um, that made you decide na, oh, I want this, I identify like as this. Was there any external factors na kind of made you
An
conclude
outside
that?
influence.
Is
Right.
there anything that made you gay? Kumbaga,
Yeah.
parang ganun.
Yeah.
Meron.
Were
Meron.
you
I would
born like
definitely say
gay or ano?
meron. Yun nga,
Okay.
that high school incident, as I've
Mm,
said earlier, was the catalyst for the whole thing. But hindi naman siya, that wasn't really much of looking back, it wasn't really that much of a turning point. I guess I'd say it's a little nudge towards that direction. Pero
Mm-hmm.
looking back, I think it's always been there. Na no matter what, I
Okay.
guess it was just a little push. Pero I guess the path that I'm going to take eventually is going to be this, that it's always been there from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That nudge was more of a little wake up call. Na hey, this is you. This is what you really are. Na and that helped. That kind looking back
Uh-huh.
also, that helped me come to terms with the struggle as to what I like, what I don't like, what I should be, what I shouldn't be, and all that. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there has
So
been
you think
there's
it was
has been an
always with
external
you?
factor that
Mm-hmm.
played a part, but I wouldn't say that
Okay.
factor was the reason why I am gay right now. I wouldn't say that. I'd say
Mm-hmm.
I'd say the gayness has always been there from the very beginning.
It was always within you, just
Oh,
Yes. Ginising lang. It has only been awakened.
the force is with you, just.
Yes.
so you think
Jedi.
it is possible na ang external factors can
Correct.
affect yung ano mo,
Mm-mm.
sexuality mo talaga?
Awesome. Okay, well,
So hindi okay.
yeah, go
Okay.
ahead, Jake.
Yeah, so parang hindi lang siya mostly biology talaga. Nakaka-affect din ng mga events na nangyayari around this person, around that person. Parang it can nudge you in a certain direction, you
Excuse me.
think. Yeah, parang hindi lang siya purely biology and genetics. Parang you think environmental factors and yung events na pwede
Mm,
mangyari dun sa
I won't
ano
even.
person.
I don't. Well, for me, speaking for myself, I don't think so because I'd say I pretty
Okay.
much grew up in a very traditional family here. I grew up with a Catholic dad and a Methodist mom. They raised me with the traditional
Mm-hmm.
values, the fit, and well, also growing up, I wasn't really exposed to the LGBTQ culture until, after that whole high school brouhaha has happened, and I tried to be more experimental. So I don't,
Okay.
for speaking for myself, I don't think it didn't play a part for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Parang okay, yeah. I get it. Parang it was
Yeah,
always with you na
uh-uh.
tingin mo.
It's always, I
Yeah.
felt that it has
Okay.
always been innate.
Okay. I got you.
All right.
Okay, James.
Well, thank you, Corin. So how about you, Mads? Same
Yeah.
question. Go ahead and share your thoughts about
When I was a
a
young
young
boy,
boy.
my father.
Oh, God.
So, okay, wait.
Mechanical romance.
Paano ba? I sige, I think I discovered I was always different naman talaga. Like even when I was younger, I knew I was different, but I didn't think about it too much. Um, I didn't label myself because I don't want to put myself in a box. However, when you kind of start to realize who you are, eventually ako, when I started to realize who I am, precisely who I am, when I was in college, it kind of made me really depressed because I think there's a generation difference when you discover who you are right now as to when you discover it. I think mga 10 years ago or years back. Kasi parang feeling ko now, queer children are more of accepting or society has accepted them now. But before, and I don't want to say this na baka you would think that I'm that old, but before when I was in college, I'd always have this struggle that and then when I realized that I was different, that I tend to like different people. Like I said, I'm leaning towards more men. Kumbaga, when you were attracted to a certain type of person and then society would tell you na, ay, bakit ganon? Mas madalas yun mangyari, I think, when I was younger. Ngayon, parang it's becoming, in a way, parang normalized na siya. So when I discovered that, medyo nagkaroon ako ng depression during college. And I did kind of um, felt like I was less of a person just because of who I
Oh
was.
wow.
Um,
Okay.
and I think it's and you get to realize this when you're different na it's a common feeling, I guess, na people you would feel like as if you don't belong anywhere or parang hindi mo alam kung saan ka lulugar. And then again, like what was mentioned a while ago, yung regarding expectations, I felt like I could not meet the societal expectations of me, of my family. Uh, because, yun yung mga values nila. They would want you to in the future raise a family, bear children, as if naman hindi ko kayang gawin yun. Excuse me. So, 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 pero ang akin lang naman is, um, for all the whoever is listening, ang akin lang is, when you have this certain love for yourself, when you value yourself that
Mhm.
much, and not listen to what society tells you, because they don't know shit about you anyway. Like they can say
Mhm.
whatever they want, but at the end of the day, you have to have this autonomy of who you want to be, and it doesn't matter if they would actually agree or not, pero what go for what makes you happy, and no one should shame you for that.
Right.
Siguro before, I felt like I was shamed. I was a little bit bullied when I was in college. Like may mga patama sa akin na parang ano ba, like bakla ka ba or something like that. So parang iniisip ko, like bakit
Ah.
ano ngayon? So it made me feel like you were less of a man just because you were gay or you were queer or you were less of a person. Pero ang akin lang naman is, and then slowly, when you mature, syempre, tatanda naman ako. Pasalamat na lang ako, tumanda ako. Uh, yun, you get to realize na at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what these people think. You have to really break these barriers, these walls that they are building around you, because you have the power. Just, you have the power. Okay. Ayun.
Well,
Go. May
well,
tanong
thank
pa
you.
ba?
Thank you for sharing. Well, actually, later may tanong tayo na. So, para ma-define natin, para mag-transition na tayo dun sa mga usually na-violate with the human rights and rights in general for the
Okay, okay.
LGBTQ community. But yeah, let's go with Siren. Siren, yeah, same question, and yeah, just please enlighten
Yeah.
us.
Sure. So, kasi nag-start ako talaga nung ano pa lang ako, 6 years old. Napakabata ko talaga. Alam ko na talagang different ako. Pero syempre,
Wow.
tayo, Filipino, we are very strictly religious, di ba? So, kumbaga, back then, in the 90s, para bang, even in 2005, mga ganyang times, it's like talagang strong religious talaga lahat ng mga Pilipino. And then we are not enlightened about LGBT. We don't even know LGBT back then that it does exist, right? So, nung
Right.
kabataan ko talaga, pakiramdam ko talaga, hindi talaga ako yung, kumbaga, hindi talaga ako yung lalaki, hindi talaga ako yung boy. Ayoko talaga nung robot, yung mga ganyan ba? So, at times
Mhm.
goes
Mhm.
by, nung hindi ko sasabihin na patunayan ko, pero what really pushed me to the edge na, I think, ang gusto ko talaga lalaki is yung one time na rape ako. Di ba? Oh, yan na. Na
Oh
rape
my.
ako ng kapitbahay namin, yung
Oh.
lalaki. Kumbaga, syempre, feminine ako, at saka bata ako. So, nung na-rape ako, nagising ako sa katotohanan, like, parang kadiri siya, ganon. Pero at the same time, parang, alam mo yung pakiramdam na nagustuhan mo, pero nandidiri ka. Pero yung nang-rape sa akin, parang mga
Yeah.
kaibigan ko lang din, which is kasing edad ko lang. At
I'm
the same
sorry
time,
to hear that, girl.
pero
Ulit.
alam mo yung pinagtulungan ka
Yeah.
nila,
Sorry.
hinubaran ka nila, and then pinaglaruan ka nila. Kumbaga,
Oh,
para bang
God.
masakit siya. At the same time, yun yung parang point na,
The fuck?
bakit ito yung pakiramdam ko after all? I should be crying, 'di ba? Hanggang
We're
sa
very
yun
sorry for that.
Mhm.
hanggang sa
Mm-hmm.
tumuntong na ako nung tumuntong na ako ng high school, even more mas naging against yung family. Hindi naman sila against sa akin, pero sinasabi nila, ano ba talaga yung gusto mo, anak? Kumbaga sinasabi ko, hindi ko mami alam, parang naguguluhan ako hanggang sa yon na-rehab ako ng family ko, nilagay na ako sa rehab, and then talagang hindi ko talaga
Mhm.
ma-explain kung ano yung nangyayari sa akin. Hanggang sa nung lumabas ako ng rehab, tumuntong na ako ng high school, nag-try ako mag-girlfriend. Pero it doesn't work eh. Hindi ko talaga gusto yung babae. Kumbaga, ang gusto ko lang talaga is maging feminine. Although I like boys, hindi ko sila target. Gets nyo? Like, hindi ko talaga yung
Mm-hmm.
gusto na makipag-sex, ganun. Gusto ko talaga, babae lang ako.
But,
Hanggang sa yung
okay. Mm.
another
We
major
understand.
Okay.
point, another major point is like nung tumuntong na ako sa Amerika nung 16 ako, nung 17 ako, right after nag-graduate ako ng high school. Dito na ako na in life, dito na ako nabulag na, oh wow, pwede ka pala maging bakla, pwede ka pala maging ganito. And then, nung nag-join ako ng militar, syempre maraming lalaki, di ba? Ayan na. Ang daming lalaki, maraming Amerikano, ang saya, di ba? Yun na, para bang, oh my God, nakakaloka. Eto na.
Girl,
So,
laban ng Pilipinas!
eto na, pagpasok ko ng military, syempre, feminine yung katawan ko kasi, feminine yung katawan ko kasi para bang nung pumunta ako dito na rin ako natuto mag-pills nung 17 ako. So, pagpasok ko ng military, nagka-shape na yung katawan ko ng konti. Ayan,
Mm.
ang daming lalaki, even
Mhm.
more. Doon na talaga sabi ko, shit talaga. Ito talaga ang, ay, sorry, walang cursing pala, no?
No, okay lang, girl. Okay lang
Go,
yan.
go.
Okay
Ay,
lang, go ahead.
eto na, oh my God, ang
Okay.
dami talaga ang gwapo-gwapo nila. So doon na talaga sabi ko, ay wala nang turning back to girl. Eto na ako ngayon, laban. So ngayon, lalaki yung
Mhm.
itsura ko, naging pakiramdam ko, I become gay. Nagtalagang gayish na talaga ako. So kasi bawal hindi ko pa na ano kumbaga na nadi-discover yung ano ba yung trans woman tsaka transgender. Hindi ko pa nadi-discover yan. Na-discover ko yung gay. So discover ko yung gay, nagkaroon ako ng boyfriend. Pero parang hindi ako masaya sa relasyon eh. Kasi para bang pag lumalabas kami sa public nahihiya ako. Kasi dala ko pa rin yung ano eh, yung ugali natin Pilipino, oh, may makita sa atin, pagtawanan tayo, gano'n, naghahalikan tayo. Pero dito sa
Okay.
Amerika, open naman sila sa mga ganyan. Hindi naman sila 100% open, pero 50% ng tao dito open. Ang gubaga nahihiya ako, yung boyfriend ko sabi niya, bakit pa ayaw mo ba sa akin? Sabi ko, gusto ko ita pero nahihiya ako eh, parang may mali, hindi to tama. Kasi nandun pa rin yung religious part ko. Which is, I'm still religious pa rin naman ngayon.
Okay.
Hanggang sa lumabas na ako ng military, doon na
Yeah.
na-depress na ako. Kasi sabi ko, ato ba talaga yung gusto ko? May mali. Hanggang sa na-discover ko yung pagiging drag queen, yung cross-dresser. Nung the age of
Yan.
22 na. Doon na-expose ako sa club. Na-expose na ako sa club, nakapasok na ako ng club. Sabi ko, oh my God, ano to? Like, para bang, bakit may iba-iba yung itsura nito mga tao na to? Merong maraming makeup, tapos meron dito feminine, yung pala
Yes.
lalaki siya.
Yes,
Ganon.
girl.
Then na-invite ako sa mag-show. Sabi nila, sabi nung mga promoter, you look pretty. Why don't you be on stage? Sabi ko, I don't know what to do over on stage. Sabi niya, well, I will put you in makeup. And that's the very first time na nagput ako ng makeup. Noong the age ng 22 na ako.
Mhm.
Tapos it feels right at the
Okay.
same time. It feels right at the same time. Sabi ko, oh my God, I like the makeup. Pero may mali. Para bang, may mali pa rin. Para bang mukha pa rin akong lalaki. Hanggang sa meron na ako nakilala na trans itself. Sabi niya, you know what? If you wanna be pretty, mag-take ka ng hormones, mag-take ka ng ganito. Sabi ko, oh, ayoko, natatakot ako, baka mamaya mamatay ako, wag na, okay na ako ng ganito. Sabi niya, well, ano ba yung gusto mo? Sabi niya, gusto ko lang talaga maging maganda, yung maging babae ba? Sabi niya, hindi ka magiging babae kung hindi mo ito iti-take. Sabi niya sa akin. So, nag-try ako. Siyempre, yung pakiramdam sa katawan iba, nag-iba talaga siya. Kumbaga,
Parang pressure naman yan, girl. Na-pressure ka naman. Pinressure ka yata na
oo, parang na-pressure. Hindi naman siya sa na-pressure, pero parang, parang lumalambot na yung skin ko, gano'n, napipil ko na yung difference.
Well, hindi naman pala.
Parang may effect. Napansin ko siya sa mga picture ko, nagkaroon na ako ng mahabang buhok, ganyan. And then, doon ko na-discover na, it feels so good, pero parang may kulang pa rin. Even up to this day, I realize na, hindi ko pa rin talaga ma-point kung ready na ba talaga ako na sumailalim talaga sa surgery kasi ang pinaka big role talaga kung bakit ako minsan nako-confuse hindi naman ako confused sa gender ko pero yung confusion ba whether I really wanna go all the way is yung religious part talaga, girl. Doon talaga. Ang hirap kapag kanilalagay mo yung God sa harap mo kasi syempre may takot pa rin ako at the same time pero bang pag ginawa ko to am I gonna be acceptable to heaven?
Girl, of course.
Para bang yung sagot ni Trixie Maristella sa Miss International Queen, do we deserve to be to be in heaven as well? Para bang ganun yung lagi kong tinatanong sa sarili ko. Yeah. So, merong mga times na going back and forth pa rin ako back then hanggang sa sinabi ko na sa sarili ko na ayoko na. Sabi ko ayoko na maging gay boy, ayoko na maging ganyan kasi para bang hindi siya tama pag nasa public. Yun yung nasa utak ko dati. Pag nakipag-kiss ako, ganyan, para bang hindi siya rights. Pero now, when I kiss a boy, nasa public ako, I feel like it's right. Kasi people look at me like a normal woman. Pero back then, I'm always scared. Yeah, so gusto ko lang tanggalin sa stigma na even though there's a same-sex relationship, it's just alright. Hindi siya mali. Kasi love is love. Love is blind, di ba? Pero kasi
Nox.
yung mga taong masyadong
Uh-huh.
judgmental eh. Yun yun.
Right. Right. And I love the fact that you've mentioned a while ago now you were confused about the gender, and then you mentioned about same-sex marriage. So let's go ahead and define para sa inyo, like what's
Can I?
gender
Okay.
versus. Oh yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I would like to add to her experience, probably because we have this. I think we need to kind of define rin, that you identifying as a woman is not necessarily going to define as well whom you're attracted to, because we've seen this happen. Like some people would identify themselves as women, or they're trans women, but they would still be attracted to women. So that does happen still. So kumbaga, we have to kind of separate ngayon pa lang na iba yung expression mo of who you are versus who
Mhm.
you're attracted to. Yun lang.
Mhm.
Okay.
Awesome. And yeah, thank you for enlightening it. Kasi totoo naman eh, 'di ba? Na basically for which is
Mas,
what we're going to talk about, gender versus uh, sex is as long as you're comfortable. Technically speaking, sex is just um, biological means na you're born as a male and a female. But in terms of your
Your
gender is more
chromosome.
of
Yeah.
your sexual preference or parang
wait.
kung sa
Sige, go.
um, kung saan ka comfortable in terms of your personal um, side na dito ako comfortable sa na mag-makeup or even you go to mag for females na magwear ng guys and then just be as much as possible look like a guy. But like what you mentioned, Mads, which is a great enlightenment with uh, attraction, that's a different thing
Yeah, sorry.
perspective.
Case in point kasi, kunwari, to cite, if you know Angie Mead King, who is a trans woman, is attracted
Yeah.
to, di ba, Joey
To
Mead King.
woman.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so they're both women, in love with each other. But before Angie, before she discovered who she was born male. Yun lang naman yun eh.
Okay.
So it's like it's different of who you are when you identify yourself. And just because you're a trans
Mhm.
woman doesn't necessarily mean that every trans woman is attracted to men.
Mm-hmm.
Although marami naman talagang
Yeah,
trans
yeah.
women that are attracted to men, but there are trans women then are asexuals. They don't really like anyone, or hindi
Yeah.
naman like. I
And
mean, they're not sexually attracted to anyone. Ganon.
mhm. Actually,
Or they uh
to add to that, that's also one of the source of the confusion. It's become a taboo because as we trans women are trying to lead the community that we like straight guys, but also trans women also like straight girls, and so that's where the confusion. I mean, obviously, lahat ng tao titingnan na, oh, naging bakla ka, naging babae ka, pero gusto mo babae pa rin. So that doesn't make sense, di
Mhm.
ba? Para sa ibang tao.
para sa
And
iba, yeah.
yes, para sa iba. But for us, that is the norm thing. It's just you can love whoever you wanted to love. It don't matter what's down below and what's the
Yes,
gender
girl.
I
orientation.
agree.
But obviously that will take time and years for the whole community or the whole entire nation to
To
understand.
understand,
And
yes.
perhaps we just have to like keep pushing forward na ito ang gender natin and love is love. It doesn't matter kung sino man yung gusto mong mahalin.
I
Pack.
But
Yes.
wholeheartedly agree
obviously,
with
Mhm.
that.
Work.
obviously, I hope that Angie Medking will also not be I'm trying to say will also be a great advocacy himself na
Mm.
tulungan niya yung community na wag ma-confuse kasi
Other, yeah, trans
he's a
women, no?
public figure himself, but if he doesn't speak about that, maapektuhan yung ibang trans. Sasabihin na ibang tao na, oh, bakit ganun? Itong car racer na to, gusto babae. So I hope he will speak one day about that. Kasi ang nata-target kami yung mga trans woman na gusto
Right.
straight guys.
Mm-hmm.
Kumbaga
Okay.
parang titignan ng tao na, oh, you guys are confusing. I don't even understand who you are anymore. So with Caitlyn Jenner as well, I think you all
Yeah.
know Caitlyn Jenner,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Right.
Caitlyn
Yes.
Jenner is in a relationship with a
Yeah.
transgender. I don't what I don't understand is like these people who are public figure and a celebrity are not really willing to speak about this confusion. They rather just become a self-centered themselves.
Well,
And I hope
okay.
that one day they will
I
talk about things.
I
I kind
appreciate
of understand though.
gets ko na
Um,
may leverage sila,
Mhm.
but maybe they also, ewan ko, siguro tinitimpla din
Kasi
nila where to put themselves. I don't know.
yeah. Kasi for me
yes,
talaga, ang believe ko talaga as a trans woman talaga is we all meant for straight guys. But you know what? I guess this is the new thing now. But back then it was like that.
I think I understand when um people don't really want to speak out about their relationships kasi to be honest, pag minsan, with influential people, people have a really big platform, we expect
Mm-hmm.
them to speak out about certain things, lalo na nga si Caitlyn Jenner, her whole family is very famous, and if they speak out about something, it usually becomes a topic. Parang nagiging nasa news, nasa balita
Oo.
talaga.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But
we kind of
I,
expect them to speak out
Mm-hmm.
about it, diba? Because
like it's a social
obviously,
responsibility na that they
uh-huh.
have to enlighten the masses about that
but the
what they
thing
can be, what they cannot be, mga ganyan.
Mm-hmm.
but the
But
thing is like
we
also
okay.
they are lucky enough to be in a public figure. Without them, our community is not gonna be even more welcome, and that's what we want, right? We want it to be welcome. Do you think a small
Mm.
voice can welcome the whole community of LGBT? No, we need a bigger voice. And who are the
May
bigger voice?
visibility kasi.
Celebrity. So
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
mahirap na ilabas yung community natin kung hindi magsasalita yung mga nasa taas. But then
Yun nga.
again, they don't want to be
Mhm.
bashed. They don't want negative comments. So I cannot blame them as
No,
well.
okay. I think also they're very careful then, because to cite an example, I think they would their partners might also be judged then or criticized. For example, if you've heard of Kalad Karen,
Mm-hmm.
I think kasi people think na when straight men are attracted to trans women, they people would assume that they're gay.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really bad, which is parang feeling ko some of the trans women who are in a relationship with straight men would want to protect their partner, so they'd like sometimes maybe it's also beneficial to talk about it, but kasi
True.
people have this notion kasi na oh wait, he's dating a trans woman, so is he gay? No, not really, but I understand na kailangan i-educate yung public, and I also understand that they are in this position that may leverage sila or meron silang kakayahan kasi nga they're a public figure, but
Mm-hmm.
then we also have to also think about their reasons for not doing so kasi nga maybe they're also protecting their partners or their families to a certain extent.
Yes,
Yes,
But
I do
but
agree
exactly.
with that. But I
also
mean, a
to add
lot
to
is on
that,
the line.
but
A lot
also
is
to
on the
that,
line
that's
with this.
also adds pressure to trans woman because the community, kind of like, oh, that's a gay guy who were in a relationship with trans woman, and a lot of trans women are on pressure to go through the surgery because they wanted to protect their partner. Well, hon, I don't want you to feel gay, so go ahead. I'm gonna do the surgery for you. Once I have the vagina, that will help you all to, become like or like feel more straight and secure around me. That also put a burden and pressure for us as
Yeah,
well.
I understand that. But to be honest,
Ah,
even within the
yeah.
community, dapat hindi pine-pressure ang trans
Yes.
women to
Mm-hmm.
undergo any type of surgery. It has to be under their own decision. I mean,
In their
under their
own
own
time.
accord, on their own time, exactly. So I
But
think that sometimes even girl, they have to be honest. 'Di ba? Alam natin na even the pressure is coming within the community. Then
oh
there
yeah, definitely.
'di ba, within the LGBT community that they would think na just because you're not passable. I really hate
hmm
that. Yung para tipong kapag
Hindi
ang
ka
trans
passable, hindi
women
ka babae.
hindi ka babae, yun, I
Mm-mm.
really hate that
hmm
kasi hindi with yun yung mali sa community na you're not even supportive of people who may not have the same privilege as you have,
hmm
or yun. So may
Kaya,
maraming intersections yan for sure.
definitely.
So ako within our community sana, if someone is listening who are trans women, we need to support each other. Like it doesn't matter if you're trans. It doesn't mean that just because you're not trans, you should not be able to empathize what they're going through. Because we're
Mm.
hindi ibig sabihin na if you're a gay man, you have a different issue than a lesbian woman or a trans woman. No, we kind of have the same things to fight for, and that's really acceptance of who we are, and that's it. Hindi ko gets yung tipong why do we need to destroy each other and then be like sasabihin na ay you need to do this, you need to do that. No pressure. In your own time, in your own accord, do you. Yun lang. And I
Pero kasi
rest my case. Okay, go.
the ultimate challenge is a trans woman is like what you said is like the community. The community put the challenge and the burden for all the trans women na kapag hindi ka passable, hindi ka babae, hindi ka trans woman. Pero kung titignan mo yung mga celebrity like Kevin Balot and Prince Garcia, it's like a challenge for everyone. You can think them as a good friends, everyone, but behind their back from one another, they also attack each other. They also look at each other flaws. Oh, may mali, boses lalaki. Oh, meron kang added
Okay.
Yeah,
sa
it's
post.
kind
I
of
see your point. I see your
So,
point.
self-irony.
Okay.
so ngayon, another point of view that I want to bring it out is like marami sa trans woman na pressure na magpa-surgery and also to sell themselves as a prostitute. I think we all know that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware of that. Na
Na
parang limited
nagta-travel
lang yung ano.
nagta-travel sila kasi nga dahil sa community natin, hindi ka maganda, hindi ka passable. Now, yung mga ibang bakla, nagta-travel, they sell themselves para magkapera, para ma-enhance pa nila yung mukha nila. Only if there's no pressure, merong mga trans woman na hindi mamamatay or hindi magkakaroon ng sakit. Alam mo yon. Kasi pag nagta-travel,
Mm-hmm.
syempre, that's dangerous.
May
You go to
risks.
another city to
Mm-mm.
sell yourself.
Yes.
O
Yeah.
pwede kang patay ng strangers. So,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hope na sana walang pressure. Kasi doon napipressure yung mga bakla na mag-travel at magpokpok.
Okay,
Uh-uh.
so
Right.
it
Para
also
ma-afford yung
boils down to
kagandahan.
to unhealthy standards. I feel
Yes.
like okay, I see.
Well,
Actually, medyo
well,
na-enlighten din ako dun sa topic na yung the way you dress, yung the way you look, parang self-expression lang siya. So, hindi sabihin na the trans woman, hindi sabihin attracted na siya sa males kaagad, di ba? Kumbaga parang self-expression niya yun na gusto niya that's how she looks, parang mas confident siya, mas masaya siya sa ganun. Pero posible rin na attracted siya sa girls din, parang ganun.
May,
Yan, parang na-enlighten din ako sa
and
conversation.
then also I
That's
would
not
like
how
to
I looked at
ask the
it
question
dati.
to see how do you feel about a trans woman, I'm sharing the restroom with you. Does it bother you or
good
doesn't?
question. Good
Ayan.
question.
Mm.
See,
Ayan
that's
na.
also another pressure for us.
Gisaan na.
That also put pressure
Oo
for
nga.
us as well. Obviously, if you see a trans woman next to you and using the restroom, one thing that you want to ask yourself first, like, that person has a penis or not? So, 'di ba? Kumbaga para bang yun yung isa sa mga point na okay. Ano ba yan? Tapos magpaparinig yung mga babae, ganyan. So,
Okay,
talagang
medyo
yun.
medyo
Oh,
tricky ang
okay.
ano na yan. Okay,
Well,
go.
Yeah.
as a woman myself, kasi obviously I've been in situations like this before. Um, I don't really care. Totoo lang, I don't even bat an eye. I don't even look. Kasi maybe I'm just the type of person na you go to the toilet for the same thing. Everyone pees, everyone takes a shit, everyone washes their hands. So, para sa akin, it doesn't really matter what gender you are. Feeling ko nga, well, for me, I feel like trans women should go to the women's bathroom because they
Mm.
feel, kasi babae sila eh. So it's awkward for them to go into the men's bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't speak for
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
obviously, because I'm not a
So,
trans woman. But I just think that, in my opinion, it would be much better if they went to an actual woman's bathroom instead
mhm,
because of
mhm.
their, hindi naman sa sexuality nila because they're attracted to men, ganun. Kasi mukha na talaga silang babae at babae talaga
Yeah.
sila. That's how they physically feel that they're a
Pero
woman. So,
yeah,
mhm.
okay, go.
Pero
Mm.
pero yung iba kasi ang titingnan nila, ganito yung pinibase nila whether you should use the woman's restroom or not. Whether you are
Yeah.
passable, then the stigma are less, then you can use the woman's restroom. Now, kapag hindi ka passable, mukha ka pang, kumbaga, I don't even know how to say it. Kumbaga, parang mukha ka pa ring lalaki. Yun yung ano, doon ka dapat sa lalaki kasi mukha ka pa ring lalaki.
Okay,
Ganun yung parang pinibase nila eh.
I think it's because of this fear. The reason why we have separate bathrooms naman talaga is because we want it's this fear that women might be
Molested.
victims molested or be but to be honest naman, let's not deny it, there are a lot of perverts out there.
Mhm.
So structurally parang it was kind of separated to kind of protect women. However, when trans women who are as Serenity would put it, na parang hindi passable, may certain fear pa rin. I understandably the fear is there, but it's an irrational fear kasi we forget that the function of the bathroom is really just for you to pee. Like kaya nga minsan
Mhm.
ako, to be honest, when it goes down to it, I'd rather prefer like a genderless bathroom because sa bahay naman wala namang pambabae panlalaki na bathroom. It's just one bathroom. Do
Mhm.
you get my point? Like
Exactly my point earlier on, 'di ba?
so yung public spaces kasi, they have these two bathrooms kasi nga, in reality, parang it's our way of ano na lang, addressing the social problem of perversion among men. Because,
Right.
sometimes, not all men are trash, but I mean, majority, sorry.
Hey,
But,
hey.
oh my God, yon. So
Ikaw,
parang it's, di ba?
for example, ikaw ba, ikaw, kapag naka-makeup ka sa drag queen, saan ka
Mm.
nagbabanyo?
Ako, to be honest, I just use whatever is available. So, ako naman, being a queen that I am, I mean, if I go to the ladies' room, they would still kind of like bow down to me, and I'm like, okay, let me just use your CR. Tapos pag nandun naman ako sa men's bathroom, be like, oh, pre, hingi lang ako, ah. So, hindi kasi, ako,
I wish I can say
because
that.
no, yeah, I know. I get the point because hindi rin safe for trans women to be in men's bathroom kasi nga there are also instances that they get assaulted in there. So nagigets
Mhm.
ko yung point na parang hindi rin alam ng trans women where to go. Pero I think
Right.
it's important. The issue here is not a
Mhm.
structural problem, but it's more of the mindset type of problem. Because in reality, the function of the restroom is really for you to just relieve yourself. So
Mhm.
hindi dapat maging basis. Dapat talaga hindi maging basis yung tipong are you passable? Are you woman enough? Because that's been the issue here. Eh.
Exactly.
Like
Mhm.
kung iihi ka
Yeah,
lang
yeah.
naman, kaya ako I'm more of like pro the genderless type of bathroom because that's what you know. However, kasi nga we're trying to protect ourselves from this evil men. Let's change the mindset of perverts out there. Like it's wrong
Actually,
Mhm.
to assault women, like all women, trans women included. Like it's
actually,
wrong. Uh,
like I will never forget one of the experience when I was in vacation sa Philippines na kailangan ko pang bayaran yung nagbabantay ng restroom, ng public restroom multiple times para lang harangin yung mga babae na papasok sa restroom. Kasi
Just to
talagang
let you
Seriously?
in.
yes, I had to do
What?
that multiple times. Yung kumbaga 'di ba pag papasok ka sa public restroom mayroong nagbabantay. I had to
mm,
pay them. I think I paid them like parang
Uh-huh.
100 pesos para lang sabihin sa kanya na, ate, huwag niyo muna papasokan yung mga babae kasi ayoko talagang makutsa, yung ganun ba, kasi ayoko nang
Oh my
nakakarinig
God, that's
kasi
also
it's been
ay,
a very long
grabe.
time since I've been home to the Philippines, so ayoko na nakakarinig ng negative. So mahirap back then, like mahirap talaga pag umuwi ako sa Philippines. So I hope that will change now when I visit next time.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
girl,
yeah.
don't want
medyo
to
Actually,
disappoint you,
Girl, private
sorry.
pero
restroom.
yeah.
Pinaglalaban natin ang Soji.
Um,
Gusto ko na umalis sa
Right,
Pilipinas, girl.
exactly, 'di ba? Yun actually yung naging ano eh, yung nag-trigger nung Soji bill and yet here we are. I mean, we're as if we're back to the Stone Age na um, eto dapat ang sa panlalaki, ito lang pambabae. I mean, come
Here
on.
in America, that was
And
never a problem. It was never a problem. You can just go use the restroom whenever you want to, and whenever you define yourself. Pero sa Pilipinas
That's the
talaga
same thing. That's the same thing in
napaka-criticize ng
Ireland.
tao. Napaka-criticize
Yeah.
ng tao.
right, and
Sobra.
even like and this is what I appreciate about the BPO. Is kahit na kung sino man yung mag-CR, it doesn't feel na parang it's awkward. Since I've uh, came into the BPO industry,
Hmm.
sobrang diverse and they accept it. And then malalaman
Yes.
mo lang talaga yung ano yung mga taong yung lalo na yung mga bago na yung naka-stare dun sa isang person na ay bago to sa BPO. Alam mo na agad eh.
Mm-mm.
Ma-identify mo sila. And sobrang ganda na may makakausap kang mga tao to enlighten you with things, especially in the BPO. So it really teaches empathy for a lot of people. And I'm not just saying na for BPO, but I mean, I'm not promoting na magtrabaho kayo sa BPO. No? But I guess my point is,
Is it
Pwede din naman,
imagine
girl.
imagine that small industry can teach that. What more kung kaya natin i-practice yun sa household, di ba?
yeah.
Ay,
Yeah, for me,
sa
Yeah.
it's not a
household, parang
problem man
normal
kung
naman
sino
kasi yun, mag-share ng bathroom kasi that's your family. But obviously,
Yes.
sharing bathroom with the
Yeah.
strangers is a different whole topic. It's a whole different
Mm-hmm.
conversation.
Hmm.
Just
So
different
we, I,
world, I would say.
hmm.
So, anyway,
All right.
We
I
have
think
comments
what
pala. I-mention ko lang yung comments from Justin. There are stalls anyway. If anything, it'll pressure dudes to be less gross when using the bathroom. Unisex bathrooms, I mean, sabi
Well,
niya.
okay lang naman kasi you need your
So,
privacy. So malamang, okay lang naman na covered. So, pero
mm-mm.
kasi, oh my God, sorry, ang dami kasi instances that there are men that really go all the way to kind of harass people, and not just women, not just trans women, even other
yeah,
men, even other
Yes,
men. Let's
yeah,
not
yeah,
let's
yeah.
let's let's be vocal about it. And kahit straight dude pa yan, kapag manyak yan, manyak talaga yan. Do you get my,
exactly.
'di
Yeah,
ba?
yeah, yeah.
So,
I think ang problem nga rito yung
ang
mindset. Tama ka.
expectation lang
Na, yeah,
kapag lalaki ka is dapat you need to you know how to fend off perverts. Kasi nga lalaki ka, tama?
Mm-hmm.
Kapag may
yeah,
manyak
yeah.
sa men's bathroom, dapat pwedeng upakan mo gano'n or something like that. But I mean, ang point ko is we need to change behaviors like that kasi parang feeling ko you hindi
Yeah.
naman pwedeng i-separate mo na lang everyone. Like, at tayo yung mag-a-adjust sa mga manyak, sila ang mag-a-adjust. Dapat sila yung panagutin. Yun.
Mm-hmm.
actually, there's a possibility that we
Uh,
can have a third restroom for the third gender. Although the problem is the
It has
government are
been done.
corrupt,
Well, it's being done little by little. Kasi
little by
I've
little.
heard some
Yes.
institutions here that they have implemented a third restroom for
Yes, I've
yeah
seen them.
in
Okay,
certain institutions.
may problem din yon. Sorry, I'd like to
Yes.
lang. Kasi ang problem doon is people might think that it's a special need for other people.
Yes. I also
So
think that
Right.
way.
it's
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
so parang the more na parang okay, hindi inclusive kasi nga you have a
They're being
special.
sequestered.
Oo, parang may special facility ka. Oh, yung mga
yeah.
diyan, yung mga hindi ka sure kung babae ka or lalaki ka, o doon kayo. So for me, if you want to just pee, well, just use it. Pero to be honest, if you want an ideal setup, might as well get rid of the ano. But then again, it's ideal nga, and we're not living in an ideal world. So
Okay.
for me, okay lang naman magkaroon ng separate, but I think I would understand if there are critics that will go against it because they would think that it's a special facility. Alam mo yun, like we're giving special favors for the LGBT community when in fact, wala naman talaga. It's just to protect na lang.
And I want to
Mm-hmm.
add then, no, once they add the that particular restroom, wag nyo naman i-lock. Kasi kadalasan naka-lock eh, just me. Parang
Yeah.
napapaisip tuloy yung kung sinong gustong gumamit nun. Saan ako didiretso? Eh, naka-lock eh. Like, come on, people. But yeah, let's and thank you for opening that restroom topic because it's actually
Yung
one of the
restroom
topics
booking.
as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that we would like to invite you with part two because we only have limited time. But yeah, let's go quick with the Pride March. Um, and time and time again, it never fails. No, every time that there's a Pride March, and I'm very happy that there is a Pride March. But then time and time again, merong oh, sabi na Jesus, ganyan ganyan, ganito ganito.
Ah,
Mm.
Ah,
very
I
yeah.
true.
hate
Come
that. That is my
on,
pet peeve. Pet peeve ko yun,
seriously,
Jim. You know that.
Yan na.
right? So
Actually,
yeah, what are your thoughts about that?
I'll go first. My thoughts
Go,
about the
sis.
Pride Month, I hope na, kasi dito sa Amerika, ang Pride Month is like, iba talaga, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Ang Pride Month dito halos naguhubad na yung mga tao
Parang
kapag
gusto
nasa
ko.
Pride Month. Yes, masarap. Actually, maganda silang tignan. Pero sana naman, let's be conservative kapag ginagawa natin yung Pride Month. It doesn't mean na Pride Month, it means balahurain natin yung sarili natin sa harap ng
Yes.
publiko. Huwag
Yes.
Mm.
naman tayo magsuot ng mga
Mhm.
boxer na nakikita yung likod ng puwet natin kung
Okay,
maaari.
wait.
Yes.
Kasi Pride Month is a celebration embracing your sexuality but doesn't mean embracing na ipakita mo naman yung sarili mo. Kasi may
Pero,
mga bata naman nanonood ng
girl,
ano,
pero
ng
ganito
Pride
kasi
Month,
yan.
'di ba?
So ano lang girl. Kasi may mga people kasi who would kind of like justify na they dress a certain way because that's what they want to dress as. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like more of like this is what I want to dress as up as. So this is going against the conservative notion of or the
Mhm.
expectation to be conservative. So nagigets ko rin na may place kasi for me, I feel like there's also a place for people who would like to wear skimpy outfits because that's who
Mhm.
they are. Because they want to
Yeah.
show flesh. If
Mm-hmm.
they got it, sige fine, flaunt it. Ako naman, who am I? Kasi ako, who am I
Right.
to na that's inappropriate. But I think it's more of like what does it represent? What does it mean for them to wear
Mhm.
it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where
That
they
has
wear
to be that has to be
uh,
very
Now,
clear because on the I'm also I have a certain inclination towards what Serenity is saying because at the other end of the spectrum we're fighting to be accepted, tolerated, loved,
right.
yeah.
and how can you enforce that fact if you yourself will not be, if you're going to fight for it in a not so presentable way.
Wait, what
Mhm.
is presentable? Sorry, I'd like to
Well,
argue
Yeah.
kasi ang talaga
uh-huh.
it's the same issue when women are being told not to wear skimpy outfits.
Exactly. That's
Well.
why I
Or
Mm.
really.
'di ba? Kasi
Mm-hmm.
who are we to say na parang oh you shouldn't wear that kasi mababastos ka niyan. It's not the woman's fault if she wants to wear like it's the rape culture biniblame a victim because they wear a certain thing. Kahit
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
it's related. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why na
It's
kailangan.
very much so related, actually.
Oo.
That's why I really liked your point earlier on. Kasi it's nice
Mm-hmm.
to hear from someone's point of view who who thinks about, syempre, yun nga, you want
Kasi
to
parang
be,
feeling.
who's conservative,
Mm,
basically. Kasi I'm not religious myself. That's why earlier on when I was hearing you telling your story about um trying to find yourself but also having this relationship with God, it was a very much so like an eye opener for me. Thus
Mm-hmm.
now talking about the Pride March, everything like that, for me kasi I feel that this world, the society that we're living in, is very constrained to certain ideas, to certain
yes.
ideals. So with in terms of clothing, we use it now as
As a
kind
form
of,
of expression.
yeah, as a form of expression, and also we use it for to kind of put yourself in a position of respect. Kung kumbaga parang kung ano yung susuotin mo, dun sila magja-judge kung irerespeto ka nila o hindi.
Sa
Pero
bagay.
Depending
honey,
on what you wear.
'di ba? Yun
And
nga eh. Ang
mhm,
point is if we want to to ask for the respect that we rightfully deserve, because we have that right. We need we
Mm-hmm.
need to be
Mhm.
respected, but it doesn't mean that it is solely based on what we wear, on what we
Mm-hmm.
do with our bodies. Because I feel like medyo mababaw lang for me na you have to present a certain way para lang for people to see you as respectable. Because what is respectable?
Yes.
If
Mhm.
for me, a woman who like to show who'd like to share their cleavage is a woman still. That's not who hindi lang yun yung entirety niya. Like may kumbaga, that's not how you judge or respect a woman. A woman is a woman. That's it. Respect na lang. Like just because they're wearing a certain way, well, gets ko naman na yun yung societal views, but we should not adhere to that, or we should not conform to how society
Uh-huh.
is. Flawed
Mhm.
yun. Like
Exactly.
ako,
Right.
Pero I just
like
want to point out then, wait lang. Um, Obviously we're talking about women and everything like that. I also
well,
want to talk about
okay.
men.
Mm,
Kasi napansin ko din, right? It's mostly women that's getting judged for wearing skimpy clothes. Pero yung men din kasi, I don't like the point na when women are sexualized, it's seen as wrong. Pero when men are sexualized, parang okay lang. I really hate that kasi at the same time, I know that men have certain feelings. Katulad nung Pride, kasi I went to the Pride March with my friends.
mm,
And they were talking, parang pinagchichismisan nila yung isang gay boy here
yeah.
wearing
Mm-hmm.
really, really short briefs. And
I
the way that they talked about him was different from the way they talked
they talk
about
about women.
this lesbian
Na
woman.
kumbaga, na
Um,
kumbaga, if
mhm.
when he wears it, it's seen as wow, it's appealing. But when a woman wears it, eh grabe, napaka ano naman
Mhm.
ito.
Hindi
Pero
Okay.
naman, no. Actually, that's not my
mhm.
point. My
Okay.
point is, sorry.
It's okay. No, no, it's
Yung
okay.
point ko is that they were talking about it, and then my other gay friend, he was like, grabe naman yung sinasabi niyo sa kanya kasi the way that they were saying, they were very judgmental. Do you
Ah,
see it?
okay.
Mhm.
Yung
Right.
pag sinasabi nila, grabe naman bakat, that was their exact words actually.
Mm-hmm.
They were like,
Okay.
this is too much, bakat na yung
Mhm.
sinusuot niya, lahat-lahat ng
Oh,
yan.
wait lang. Oh, sige.
Mhm.
Pero yun nga yung point ko na bakit nakakabawas ba sa pagtingin mo sa isang tao kahit hubad pa man lang yan tao sa harap mo?
Mhm.
Does it really make the person less of a person because of the
Yes. 'Di
they're
ba?
Yeah.
wearing? Yun
But
yung
actually keep going. I'm listening. Sorry.
sige, ang akin ko kasi, if we're going to celebrate, so Pride is supposed to be a celebration of diversity, and
Mm-hmm.
you
Mhm.
being able to do who you are, or being you, period.
Yes.
So, and I get that sometimes hindi siguro nawawala yung mga biases natin towards what is accepted, what is not. But
Mhm.
then
Yes, I
you have
agree.
to,
I agree.
you have to
Mm.
remove these blinders kasi. So, ang akin kasi, within the gay community, and I've seen this in the gay community, may
Mm.
shaming towards a certain group.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Not just within the gay community, even within trans, like sinashame yung hindi passable, fine.
Mm-mm.
Or
Mhm.
gay guys, sinashame yung fem. Diba? Dapat
Yeah.
mas tayo, girl, parang gano'n, uy, bro tayo, bro, gano'n.
Mhm.
Or like there's so much shaming happening within the community that it's kind of the toxic, like for me, you're missing the point. If you went to Pride and then you shame other people, you're missing the point, because it's supposed to be a celebration of diversity, that you are valid. Like
Yes.
whoever
Yeah.
you are, whatever you want to do with your body, whatever you want to wear, you are valid. If you want that, go ahead. That hindi ka nakakasakit ng tao, hindi ka nakakatapak ng ibang karapatan ng tao, then that's
Mm.
it.
By
So
all
ang akin
means.
lang kasi this negative connotation na sino ka para pagsabihan kung anong dapat ko suotin, or sino ka para
Exactly.
pagsabihan ako kung anong dapat kong gawin sa katawan ko, or sino ka kung para pagsabihan ako kung sino ang dapat kong mahalin. That to me kind of gets
Mhm.
Mhm.
gets ko rin naman na within the community it's not really readily addressed. ako, personally, I've learned a lot of these things by engaging myself or putting myself out there as a drag queen.
Mhm.
When you are in a different persona as a drag performer, you get to understand this. That's why sometimes I kind of try to challenge people now once in their life, even
Mm-hmm.
straight folks, like try and drag, and then like go out of the in the streets, and you would understand how a woman feels like, how a gay guy feels like, because you are being looked at differently.
Mm-hmm.
You would feel it firsthand. Ako kaya if you want to learn empathy, might I challenge you to try drag. But ako beyond that, if you just like
Mhm.
observe how it is with the community, marami pang kailangang i-address na dapat,
Yeah.
I mean, the basic ano
Okay.
lang naman dito is
Yeah.
respect.
So
Like,
I would say this. I mean, like what I was trying to say earlier. Hindi naman. It's not about. I'm not trying to point out like being conservative,
ay,
but we
sorry.
also have to understand na 20% out of 100%, the viewers who are watching the Pride are conservative Filipinos. Okay, let's just talk about Philippines itself. Kasi
Okay.
ang mga hindi pa,
Mm-hmm.
kumbaga kaka-bring out pa lang ng LGBT sa community, hindi ba? So kaka-bring out pa lang ng
Mm.
same-sex marriage. So what I'm trying to
Sige.
say is like, itong ganitong part ng pagsusot ng damit, for me, it was honestly fine because you're embracing yourself and that's okay.
Yes.
But we are
Mm-hmm.
not on the time and then we're not on the time yet to actually elevate this kind of matter because there's a lot of things that we wanted to be welcome with, like same-sex marriage, trans rights, LGBT rights. Marami tayong gustong ibukas. Pero yung ganito, I think parang hindi pa siya mo-open. I think it will
Not in
take
this
more
time.
years. Yeah, parang it will
Mm-mm.
take more years. What I'm trying to point out is like, if we can start to be looking, I mean, okay, like what you said, being professional, it's just, I mean, I mean, wearing a skimpy clothing or whatever, it's your thing. I understand that. But
Mm-hmm.
for us to be fully welcome to the community, we also need to have self-respect. I understand that, self-respect also comes sa pagsusuot mo ng damit, kung paano mo ilalagay yung sarili mo sa public, 'di ba? So paano tayo ma-welcome kung kung ang ginagawa natin is parang magmumukha tayong clown or katatawanan sa
Wait lang.
Pride
Okay,
Month.
sorry. We're talking
So
about pride marches, right?
but as a Pride Month, that is our time. It means that's us. No one should care about, no one should say anything about it because that's our month, that's our time. So
Yes.
I get that part. But out of the Pride Month, I think we should all be, looking forward to address professionalism at the same time. That's just
Wait,
my point of
I
Right.
view.
have.
So, yeah. Well, thank you for saying that, Siren. So, dun sa with our thoughts about the Pride March as well, especially with how religion is
Hindi
involved,
disrespectful
right?
about playing drag though.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Religion is
Mm-hmm.
really the I don't know. Religion. This is just my point of view of the religion. Just real
Mm.
quick. Non People that doesn't believe in religion actually are the nicest person on earth. The one that doesn't believe in religion are the most negative people to be around with. That's it.
Based on
I don't
experience,
understand.
I also
Yes, based
Oh
on
my
agree.
God.
experience.
high
Based
five,
on
Jake and C.
experience.
High five.
Based on experience, people that does believe in God
No
are the
comment.
the most negative people. The one that doesn't even believe in God and hell are
Thank
the most
you.
nicest people.
Charot.
I do not
Thank you.
understand. I do not
I
understand
I
that.
wholeheartedly agree with that. Case in point,
Oh,
one of the
Mm-hmm.
Phelps children from the Westboro Baptist Church.
So
Mm,
anyway,
Yeah.
all right, moving
what?
forward.
Neil, you
Wait, I have
agree?
a point with
Wait lang, may
religion
comment.
and
Yes.
ano. Um,
Okay, go
wait
okay.
ahead.
lang, ang
Before,
daming okay, go.
okay, I just wanted to get my point back earlier on with the Pride March. I think na the number one thing for me, right, and I felt this with my friends as well, wearing clothes empowers some people and not wearing clothes empowers other people. I think
Yeah.
Mm.
the Pride Month is really just empowering your sexuality and the gender that you are and accepting who you are. This
Oh
also
my God.
comes with, mhm.
Go,
This
go, go.
also is with I thought that while I was in the Pride March,
Yeah.
attending it, I saw that there was some women wearing hijab. There was people wearing burqa. I saw
Mm-hmm.
that, and they were a lesbian, even though they were a Muslim. I also had
Mm-hmm.
that thought. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was also men who were obviously, as you said, wearing professional clothing, and some wearing not even a lot of clothing. And they were getting along. Okay lang naman sila together kasi kung ano yung nag-empower sa'yo, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel yourself, what makes you feel confident. If you feel confident wearing a dress, go for it. If you feel confident wearing tibak lang, go for it. For me
Yes,
kasi,
girl. Oh, go.
it's the
Wala lang.
people's we care too much about what other people think, and that's the
I
problem
suppose
here in
in
the
that I
Philippines.
suppose in that venue, yes. I see it now na I guess we all have this one specific purpose kasi, and that's of course
Mm-hmm.
to bring ourselves out there. So yes, definitely for that when we're talking about Pride March earlier, I
Yes.
see it also that it's a form of expression. Now in that venue we are open to express ourselves without
Mm-hmm.
the fear of being judged
Judge, yeah.
Judged.
upon or
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
being lambasted upon.
Mm-mm.
I suppose, yes, that is the
But
purpose.
also, I think I wanted to bring it out is like the next
Mm.
time we do the Pride Month, I want us, because obviously that is the only time for us to shine. I mean, not the
Yeah,
only time for us to shine, but we are the center of attention. We are the media. We are the news, right?
all
Exactly.
What
eyes
I'm
are
trying to
on
Mm-hmm.
point
us.
out is like, because all eyes on us, I want to use that time to really bring out the best of us and really, put a lot of what do you call this? Like a lot of kailangan ilabas natin yung talagang, ano ba talaga yung adhikain natin. So, I'm
Yeah,
trying to say, is like,
Mm-hmm.
the
I
next
get
time
that.
magkaroon tayo ng Pride Month, sana yung maging adhikain natin is like, not just about looking like a clown during the Pride Month, but also bring
Wait lang,
out
wala
who
pang
we
problema.
we truly are.
Wait lang, okay.
Diba?
Someone
I
asked
I
sa
I
comment,
agree 100%
is
about
there,
Kasi
okay.
nasa center tayo ng news eh. So I think we should use the Pride Month as a platform to really bring out what's our advocacy. Not just
well,
like being looking like a slotty or like looking like this and that. Well, I
sige.
understand like what I said. It's like we wanted to embrace ourselves, but also we are the center of attention. We should, be looking like, yeah, I mean, kailangan ipakita natin kung ano ba talaga advocacy natin. Wag natin sayangin yung time natin na nasa news tayo and then papakita natin is yung
Agree.
okay, I mean, should I
Okay.
say, hindi naman kababuyan, but like less respect for ourselves.
Wait
Parang
lang,
ganun
okay.
ba?
I totally agree with Pride being a protest because it is a protest. And to be honest,
Mm.
some people do dress a certain way because it's their way of protesting. And sometimes it is a shock value for them to kind of get people's attention. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they dress sometimes in a way, in that particular way for people to look at them. And
Mm-hmm.
in a strategic way, that's kind of a way for them to kind of voice out their platform. Again, it kind of boils down to intention. What is your intention
True.
I know, because sometimes that's how artists are. They can be provocative. They can dress provocatively because they want people to look at them a certain way para may voice nila yung gusto nilang iparating. It's not trying to kind of devalue themselves, but rather it's more of like look at, like, I mean, let's not artists like Lady Gaga can wear nothing naman eh, di ba? Like, and people were like they look at her because she's
Mm-hmm.
showing
Right.
some flesh.
Well,
Because that's a particular strategy. Ang akin lang naman is let's not forget what the intention of Pride is, and really it's just to protest. And
Yes.
yes.
if you know your intention, then and people would get it. People would get it regardless of what you wear.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what you wear. Because at the end of the day, if you know why you're there, then you are in the right place. Yun lang siguro yung kailangan natin address. And I agree. Kasi maraming pumupunta ng Pride, they don't know why they are there in the first place. Maybe they just want to like hook up with someone. Totoo naman yan eh. Nangyayari talaga yan.
Rider.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Totoo
Well,
yan. But we have to educate that pride is really a protest. And sometimes people have a different way of protesting. They can protest by wearing skimpy outfits because that's their way of protesting. They want people to look at them, and then when they have the attention na mapunta sa kanila, then they'd be able to put across or send their message.
Mm-hmm.
Yun
Well,
naman.
Good view. Good
and
view on that.
and
I now I agree with you.
and
Mm.
yeah, I mean, with that view, I mean, it opens that avenue that hey, I mean, it's not just this, but it's actually just being more open to this diversity that we
Mm-hmm.
have.
Mhm.
Now, let's just read. Jake, you mentioned like there was a comment.
Yeah. Merong comment before. Ito. Is there anything disrespectful about wearing drag though? Patanong.
Ano daw?
Ano,
So,
sorry?
Can you
Ano
I
repeat?
think
daw?
na-address na rin
Can you
kanina
repeat
yan.
that?
Is there anything disrespectful about wearing
What about it?
drag?
What about it? Yeah.
Is there anything disrespectful? Yan,
Hindi,
tinatanong niya.
we didn't get the question.
Parang, is there any...
Is there anything
Ano,
wrong with wearing drag?
Yeah, parang ganun. Yun ang tanong niya. Is there anything wrong with wearing drag ba? Parang ganun.
gusto mo bang sagutin ko yan?
Yeah, I think na-address na rin naman,
Yeah.
ano,
So, Mads, if
I
you
think
want,
na sagot
go
na
ahead
kanina yan.
and answer that real quick before we go with our closing remarks. Yeah, we definitely
Yeah,
have.
mabilis lang.
Yeah, well, the definition of drag, what is drag? Drag is really just embodying a certain character. It's defining parang an exaggeration. So I think there's nothing disrespectful with doing drag. It's really more
Mm.
of the negative notions that are being placed on people wearing makeup.
Drag.
It's really just a dude in or a woman in really thick slabs of makeup and really, wig and
Mm-hmm,
pretty
mm-hmm.
clothes and being fabulous. Yun lang.
Great. All right.
Oo.
I like na
Pero I
magkaiba
have
yung
mad
nyo, yung
respect
view
for
dito sa
drag
Pride Month.
One
queens. I have
one
mad
last
respect for them for being able to
one last
express
thing
Mm.
to
themselves.
so one last thing to end the conversation about this signature clothing. It's like some people actually commented about that it is okay to wear whatever you want. That's all right.
Mm,
That is because we're talking about other country, but
mm,
mainly we are talking about Filipino, a conservative Filipino. So for
mm-hmm.
that, I feel like yes, we can wear whatever we want, but we cannot, have all Filipinos agree with what we're doing, and it's just going to be a very difficult times for us to bring that out. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah,
So
it's
Mhm.
may
definitely gonna be like a steep climb
yes. Kasi
before.
may
Yes.
kasi may mga nagko-comment dito na sinasabi na, oh bakit? I mean, pag merong rave party, ganyan, pwede magsuot ng ganyan. But also, these people are from the other countries, which is from America, which is in America or Europe, it's pretty
Mm.
open to wear whatever you want. Pero we're talking about our country, the Philippines, our home.
Hindi, okay lang. Kasi pinagtataka ko, the conservative ideology was actually a Western ideology in the first place. So I don't kind of
Mm.
get it why. Kasi if we pre-colonization of the
Mhm.
Philippines, 'di
Mhm.
ba? Nakabahag naman ang
Mhm.
Pilipino eh. So I
True.
mean,
I
do
know.
Di,
Yes.
so,
In the
Right.
olden
ko lang
days.
naman,
Religion,
bakit,
again.
bakit sinasabing, di ba, what constitutes, uh, di ba, these ideologies were introduced to us by Western countries. Kaya tayo
Right.
problema kasi
True.
we kind of don't have our own
Religion.
Signature walk.
yeah.
Right.
Religion.
Yeah.
One word,
For
religion. Baka
Religion.
na, hindi na kasi bagong ano na
that
naman
is
yan eh.
that is
Magkakagulo na
correct,
naman pag
Mads. When you
ipasok yung word na
what you
yun.
mentioned. But yeah. So clearly, there's a lot of things that we can talk about. The LGBT
Yeah.
community, and definitely we need a part two. So just last things like for you guys, yung lalo na yung nag-experience na gender identity, what's your
Yeah.
message, and what any just final thoughts before we end this conversation. Let's start off with Corn.
Okay, for those who are struggling with coming to terms with who they are and all this confusion that has been racking their brains for quite a long period of time, for me, it also helped that I was surrounded with friends who, number one, has introduced me to a world of possibilities. So basically, the mindset that I have adapted ever since was anything can happen in this world, and it helped me to become more open. It helped me to embrace who I was, and we live in a very progressive, changing, dynamic time. So um, yes, there are still people who can shoot down at you for being this or being that and whatnot. But at the end of the day, as stated earlier, you do you. At the end of the day, they're not the ones in charge of your lives.
Yeah.
You are. So
Mm-hmm.
I say, whatever you feel is comfortable that you should be doing, you do you.
I like that. So it's gonna be our tagline for this episode. You do you.
Yeah.
um, awesome. So yeah, what about
Mm-hmm.
you, Mads? What are your last thoughts and any opinions or like help for those who's experiencing gender identity crisis?
I think I'd like to add na lang because mahirap na magano. We're all in this together. Nax High School Musical. So, yung akin lang is, do you just as long as you, don't step on other people's, rights. Because I
Yes.
feel like don't, respect. Respect lang talaga, girl. Like,
Mm.
my dad, baka pwede naman. And also,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing wrong. You are valid. You're beautiful. Walang masama sa pagiging kusino ka. Let's not adhere to these unhealthy standards that we have.
Hmm.
Because we know they're unhealthy. Let's be honest and just be who you are. I mean, walang masama. Eh ano ngayon kung ganito ka? Eh ano ngayon kung ganyan ka? Basta mahal mo ang sarili mo, that's good enough. You don't need other people's love to validate who you are. Enough na yung mahal mo ang sarili mo, especially ngayon kapag mag-isa ka lang. So, ganun. Love. O, ganun na lang.
Sariling
Okay?
But
Malaking bagay yun.
but that
Uh,
is true. I mean, loving yourself is a big thing.
mm,
It would give you a lot of motivation that you don't even expect.
yeah,
Um,
Tita Whitney
I
said,
I
Whitney
agree.
Houston, greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that, man.
Perfect.
So yeah, what about you, Siren?
Embrace who you are. Don't be
Hmm.
afraid to explore. That's how you're going to find yourself by exploring. Be brave, whatever decision you make in your life, and be strong enough and have courage. Obviously, like what he said, be respectful and don't step to others' people. And
Mm-mm.
then also another thing is like when people are bringing you down and throwing shade on you or negative things, kill them with kindness. All
Pa,
right.
gusto ko yan. Go.
and then
Yeah.
um
Yes.
and then never forget who are truly there when you start that journey. Never forget all those people because when you stumble one day you're gonna realize that you can always go back and count on them. That's it.
Awesome. That's
Nice, nice.
great words of wisdom and
And last thing is like don't be influenced. Don't follow what's the new thing and what's the norm thing. Do you
Mm.
authentically.
Pa.
definitely do
Ganoon.
you.
I'll do myself.
Mm-mm.
All
Yes, I
right.
do myself later sa
Do
banyo.
myself.
Oh my God.
Okay. But yeah, I mean,
Okay.
uh,
That's too much.
that was a different do you thing, but
Yeah.
but yeah, last words, C for the show.
Okay, so just to wrap it up, number one thing is definitely respect. Pag may respeto ka sa sarili mo, may respeto ka din sa ibang tao, dapat, 'di ba? And being open-minded and open to people's ideas, their sexuality, their genders, and not confining yourself to one kind of ideology, but being more open to people's thoughts and opinions and their individuality. Mas maging accepting tayo sa mga tao kasi wala ganun yung mundo natin. No one is the same. Everyone is different. No one, as in, lahat tayo
Iba-iba.
isang
Yeah.
iba-iba talaga. As in, kung sino si Siren, siya lang yon. There's no one else like her in the world. And I think that's such a big thing to know to yourself is that ikaw lang, as in, ikaw lang talaga. Yung
As in,
tao
siya
na
lang
ganyan sa mundo.
Wala na talaga. Siya
Oo,
lang
ikaw
talaga.
lang. Wala na talaga. And that's very important to know that you're the only one like that. Kasi 'di ba, mamahalin mo yung sarili mo ng sobra-sobra. And when you love yourself, you love other people much better.
Aww. Aww.
Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on
Awesome.
Instagram, guys.
Well, well, thank you for that, C. Jake, any final words?
Get tested.
For
Ay,
me,
gusto ko
yung
yun. Gusto ko
purpose
yun.
ng video
Oo.
na to is to enlighten yung mga listeners. Pero actually, mas parang ako yung na-enlighten. Kaya nakikinig na lang ako sa mga usapan nyo. Marami rin akong bagong na-gets eh. So, yung mga self-expression na iba yun sa gender identity mo, yung iba yun sa attracted ka, hindi ibig sabihin nag-drag ka. Yun nga, yun parang yung malaking na gets ko ngayon from your explanation Tapos, yun nga, siguro tama rin sinabi niyo na empathy lang kailangan talaga. Yeah, to be kind to other people na lang and try to understand what they're going through. Because I think yung gender identity nga is like a journey nga siguro. Parang, yeah, yun lang.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jake. Well, I guess for me, ang big takeaway ko dito, no, especially when we talked about the Pride March and you guys told na or mentioned na kahit sa within the LGBTQ community, meron din pa ring turmoil of some sort na meron pa ring
Hindi pagkakaunawaan yan.
pagkakaunawaan within the community. I think the biggest part, like we want to promote as well here in Terrible Children, even though na gaano ka hirap ang sitwasyon, no, you can always empathize to a person if you can just think on what if I was on his or her shoes. Diba?
Exactly.
Yes.
Because definitely ang laki ng pwede nating ma-understand and matutunan sa mga bawat
Ma-contribute.
tao. And ma-contribute,
Ma-contribute.
exactly. And it goes a long way. Malay mo, yung simple gesture mo na yun, napaka laki na para dun sa person na yun. So, definitely we want to promote that. And thank you. This was an eye opener as well. Definitely, we're gonna have and clearly, like I said a while ago, kulang yung oras. And definitely, we're gonna have a part 2 for this. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna announce that as well. And again, here is Terrible Children's talking about terrible things. And just real quick, sorry, I just want to greet my mom. Happy birthday! I love you, mom.
Happy birthday, Mom!
Happy
Okay, it's not my mom.
Aww.
Happy birthday, Mami ni Jim.
Happy birthday, Mama.
Get tested and follow me on Instagram. Have a good night.
Yes.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
announce the next
Thank you, listeners, and
topic.
not just yet. Yeah, sure.
the
You can
next
go
topic.
ahead and
Religion.
announce the next topic. It's going to be religion. We're going to schedule this part 2
Yeah.
for the LGBTQ. But yeah, next topic
Yeah.
would be religion. So it's going to be a hot
Thank
topic,
God.
and we're going to have fun with that. So yeah, thank you for your time, guys.
Thank
And
you,
you have a wonderful
guys.
day.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Salamat.
Good
Ay,
Of
night.
course, we wanna see how you look like.
Let's
Nanitis
follow
mo kami
our-
kanina.
Let's follow it. Let's
Send
follow
ko
each
sa
other
message.
on
Ilagay ko rito
Instagram.
sa video. Gusto mo?
Porn, can we see
Yeah,
your Instagram?
unlive mo na, Jake.
Ilagay ko rito.
Lagay mo Instagram
Okay na,
mo.
Jake.
Okay. Bye.